This run was pretty special. I think the starter options speak for themselves. I've done many a randomizer Nuzlocke, or just Nuzlocks in general. You may have seen the video where I got wiped by the top percentage Rattata. Yeah, not too good. This is at least my 30th attempt at a run. But I decided, let's do this. And if you're wondering how Naganadel, or as I like to call it, Naganadel, is in Pokemon Emerald, this is a ROM hack that adds a bunch of other Pokemon from later generations into the games. So without further ado, let's just see how it went. Now, if you play Kaiser Ironmon, you may know what that thing on the right is. I am so determined with this run to win that I'm using a tool only mainly used for much harder challenges, just so I can gather as much info as possible. And my first encounter was kind of insane. Okay, a bit of a downgrade from all the Ultra Beasts and Megas, but we can work with this, it's fine. Oh wait, I killed it. The encounters I've gotten up to this point are pretty insane, but this Gabite would not get in the ball. This thing was so annoying. It somehow just would not catch, despite me being able to easily catch a Mega Charizard, so I had to eventually abandon it. Then I tried to grind off the wild Pokemon, only to find another Gabite, and you just saw how that went. After an eternity spent doing some actually successful grinding, I finally got the guts to fight the first trainer, and wasn't really too difficult to beat, so I just kinda carried on. Nothing of note really happened until the next encounter. That circle means that it's a legendary, and it was Reshiram. But it had Sandstream, and it just would not catch at all. So I eventually had to give it up because it was gonna wipe my team. In Petalburg Forest, I found a Drowsy, and I named it Browsy. I guess that means it has eyebrows now, I guess. Then Naganadel almost died. Then in the following route, I found a Golett that knew Shadow Punch and Magnitude. I really liked using Magnitude, despite it being completely luck-based how much damage it does, and I really leaned on it throughout the run. Also, I forgot to mention that I named it Beanie because it had the ability Airlocked, and that reminded me of Among Us, and Among Us characters look like beans. I decided, why not fight the gym leader under-leveled? What's the worst thing that could happen? And Beanie absolutely carried here. I told you I depended on Magnitude a lot. But then, Beanie lives on 1. And that definitely scared me quite a bit. And then Browsy takes a lot of damage. Then it uses Endure. Yeah, that was nerve-wracking. After being quite the failure, I eventually catch a Quackquaval on the rod. And that's amazing. This is quite the good Pokemon to find. And I name him Rob, because why not? After failing to fish up a Pokemon for an extremely long time, I eventually got a Mr. Mime, who I named Mr. Crime. After actually getting a Pokemon the first time, I get a Bombslide, and I named her Subcribble. Then Subcribble died, and I caught a ghastly named Radley that had pure power in Slayport City. After failing to catch a Pokemon for quite a bit, yet again, I caught a Rapidash. But I quickly realized this Rapidash was absolutely insane. It took me quite a while to catch it, but I caught it. It's only rapidish though, it's not really rapid, it's only kinda rapid. Then I I found a Phantom with Spore, which is going to be really good for catching other Pokemon. And I named it Ice Mantum, despite it being a female. Big mistake on my part. Then Naganadel almost died again. I thought it'd be a good idea to fight Brawly under level. Cubchoo obviously went down pretty easily. And then he sent out Rockruff, which also was not too hard to beat. And so I sent in Rapidash and tried to go for the Needle Arm. And he switches into a Tyrantrum. Now, this is obviously a pretty bad spot, but as if it wasn't bad enough, this thing has Smoke Screen. And then I proceed to miss an Earthquake, and he misses a Hydro Pump. And by that point, I realize it's a good idea to get out of there, and I try to use Magnitude, but Beanie dies. And then Browsy has to hit with an Earthquake. And I have to watch in horror as Browsy spams Earthquake. Browsy lives a hit, but of course, Brawly Super Potions, and Browsy dies. And after he did such a significant amount of damage, Barreled is good to take the KO. And then I poison it. Then I think to myself, wait, it has Marvel scale, doesn't it? Then I realize, as I poisoned it, it has 50% more defense than it would normally. So I just worsened my situation. So I send in Naganadel and try to do some damage. And then I finally take it down. Then he sends in Rockruff. Now, it's not over till it's over, because Rockruff uses Bounce and paralyzes Naganadel. Now, not risking anything, I have to switch in Rapidash, and then I get the Earthquake and finally beat Brawly. Now, as you would expect, Ice Mantum dies the first chance she's given. Then I accidentally kill Mr. Crime, and Ghastly dies too. Then I get the Rock Smash guy. I had a very important face-off with a Sunkern. Just kidding, they had a Suicune. Now, I use Extra Sensory, and Suicune uses Mirror Move, so naturally, thinking it naturally used Extra Sensory, I didn't think it had any more powerful Psychic moves. So Naganadel dies. Our beloved starter, now gone, reduced to ashes by this legendary beast. Then I took on Whatson, and I was pretty confident I would win, even without Naganadel. He sent out Unknown. Unknown just had Camouflage, so I was fine. Rob leveled up, then he sent in Kyurem White. Now, I didn't really know what to do here, so I used Slash, and it nearly one-shot Rob with Dazzling Gleam. So I used Rapidash, but then he switched into Latios. And Latios had Octazooka. I really tried, but Octazooka was doing too much damage. I'd have to sacrifice someone to win this fight. So I decided Rob had to go. And I really did try not to have to deal with this, but I eventually had to deal with the fact that Rob was gonna die. So I sent in Rob. Can we get to the point where I sent in Rob? Alright, there we go. And Latios killed him almost instantly. Now I knew Rapidash was in danger because of Octazooka, but Latios used Charm, happing my attack, and then he used a Super Potion. Now I had to get rid of stat drops, so I sent in Barrel to die. And Rapidash was the last one standing. Octazooka did a bunch of damage. I tried to use Minimize, but Octazooka killed, and the run was over.